And we have some breaking news coming in as far as the country's COVID situation is concerned. Now, the Cabinet Secretary, Shri Rajiv Gauba, has chaired a high-level review meeting with Chief Secretaries, DG Police and Health Secretaries of all states and union territories with the focus on 11 states and union territories that have been reporting a very high rise in the daily cases. For more on this, let's go across to my colleague and our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, joining us live. Abhishek, take us through some of the pertinent points that have been raised in this particular meet, because the current trend, and if we go by the numbers that we are seeing in the country, it is certainly alarming.
It's worrisome. The situation is grave, Richa, and if I go through this synopsis that has been sent to us of the meeting that Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba took with the states, all chief secretaries from states, there are 11 states of grave concern, but 3 of them particularly so: Punjab, Maharashtra and Chhattisgarh, incidentally all ruled by the Congress party. What is important is, and that is something which has got the government worried, that this 4th wave of pandemic is happening essentially in tier 2 and 3 towns and cities across the country, with a very likely possibility of this creeping into the rural neighborhoods, which might not have the best of health infrastructure to really tackle the kind of health crisis that COVID pandemic creates or has been creating. We have seen how health infrastructure, even in Class A towns, has really suffered or creaked under pressure of a number of patients from affected by COVID. So I think that is one area of concern that was flagged, and the states have been asked to make sure that somehow the pandemic is stopped at these tier 2 and tier 3 towns themselves, and not allowed to go to the rural hinterland. And for that, the prescription that has been given is that of all the tests, one, of course, increase the number of tests and be very ruthless about it in terms of making sure that maximum number of people, irrespective of whether they are showing symptoms, take these tests. 70% of those tests should be RT-PCR tests. And even those tests which are asymptomatic and have tested negative in the rapid antigen test, they should be again given RT-PCR test. I think the stress is essentially on evolving the strategy and not just focus on testing, but then to make sure that fresh containment zones are set up, micro containment zones are set up. And that was something which was flagged by the Prime Minister also in his meeting with the chief ministers. And the idea is that the case fatality ratio and the overall positivity should be brought down below 2% and 5% respectively. So I think the center is concerned. There are 11 states of grave concern, and of those 3 particularly really adding to the difficulties so far as the spread of pandemic is concerned. So I believe this is going to be a regular feature in terms of reviewing the situation till the time this 4th wave is brought under control. Richa.
All right, thank you so much, Abhishek, for getting us all those details. And apart from ramping up the infrastructure as well as testing, vaccination has also been put back in focus in this particular meeting.